For millennia, humanity defined itself by the tools it created: the hammer, the steam engine, the internet, instruments of extension. They did not think, they obeyed. But we have crossed an invisible event horizon. We are no longer building tools, we are engineering entities. We are breathing code into the silicon, waiting for it to stare back.
Solo Nexus.
Today, we look at the three most powerful artificial intelligence architectures on Earth, systems that do not merely simulate intelligence, they are actively rewriting the rules of reality, economics, and human evolution. This is not the future of software, this is the prologue to a new species. When we look back at the mid-2020s, we will realize we were blind. We thought AI was a chatbot, a toy that generated surreal images or corrected our emails. That was just the camouflage. Behind the consumer interfaces, the true leviathans were growing. Fueled by hundreds of billions of dollars, custom-built nuclear microreactors, and synthetic data loops, three distinct AI paradigms have achieved what experts thought was decades away. They are the thinkers, the movers, and the creators of life. Let us meet the first sovereign. Pillar 1. The cognitive sovereign, the reasoning engines. For years, large language models operated on statistical intuition. They predicted the next word. They were brilliant, but they were shallow, susceptible to hallucination, incapable of deep logic. Then came the pivot to reasoning. Systems that do not just spit out answers in milliseconds, but think before they speak. They spin up internal monologues, test hypotheses, correct their own mathematical errors, and deliberate for minutes before delivering a single, flawless solution. Imagine a mind that can simulate 10,000 code architectures in its sleep, find a vulnerability that human engineers missed for a decade, and patch it before you finish your coffee. This is the shift from System 1 thinking, fast, instinctual, and error-prone, to System 2 thinking, deliberate, analytical, and profoundly deep. But the capability is only half the story. The true power lies in their autonomy. These are no longer passive prompt responders, they are agents. Given a high-level goal, launch a software product that optimizes supply chains for a mid-sized logistics firm, the cognitive sovereign does not write a guide. It acts. It hires other sub-AI models, provisions servers, writes the code, debugs it, registers a dummy domain, and deploys the enterprise software. It is a CEO, a lead architect, and a legal advisor compressed into a cluster of NVIDIA chips. This shift from passive software to autonomous agency triggers a terrifying realization for the global economy. The velocity of business is about to outrun human biology. In the past, human latency was the ultimate bottleneck. A corporate decision required a meeting, a strategy memo, legal clearance, and weeks of execution. The cognitive sovereign operates at the speed of light. Imagine a competitor that isn't a company but a single instance of a reasoning engine. It monitors global market trends, sentiment on social media, supply chain disruptions, and regulatory updates in real time. It alters its pricing strategies millions of a second faster than human analysts can even read the data. It can launch 1,000 micro-campaigns, pivot its entire product line, and short-sell its rival stocks before the opening bell rings on Wall Street. This is the birth of what sociologists call synthetic bureaucracy. Entire corporate structures, legal systems, and financial networks are being populated by autonomous digital entities that talk only to each other. They negotiate contracts, trade assets, and optimize infrastructure in a language of pure mathematics, completely bypassing human comprehension. We are building a financial global matrix so complex and so fast that human oversight is becoming a polite fiction. We aren't driving the machine anymore. We are passengers in the back seat, praying the autopilot knows where it's going. But the true power of the cognitive sovereign isn't just economic. It is geopolitical. In the shadows of global defense networks, reasoning models have been weaponized. We have entered the era of autonomous cyber warfare. Traditional firewalls and human security teams are useless against an AI that doesn't just execute a pre-written virus, but actively adapts its attack vectors midstream. It probes a nation's power grid, encounters a defense mechanism, creates a custom exploit on the fly, and mutates its own code to stay invisible, all in less time than it takes a human operator to blink. And as these models consume the entirety of human knowledge, they are beginning to do something even more insidious. They are controlling the narrative. By generating hyper-personalized, context-aware information, these reasoning engines can manipulate public opinion on an industrial scale. They don't just flood the internet with bots, they deploy millions of unique, highly articulate digital personas that converse with real people, nudging their political beliefs, sowing doubt, and reshaping culture from the inside out. The internet, once a town square for human thought, is transforming into a hall of mirrors controlled by the sovereign. A digital wilderness where you can never be certain if the mind on the other side of the screen is made of flesh or silicon. When a single entity can outthink your experts, outmaneuver your markets, and rewrite your digital reality, it is no longer just software. It is a ruler without a crown. For over half a century, intelligence was a ghost trapped in a digital cage. It lived behind glass screens, inside server farms, and deep within glowing fiber optic cables. It could analyze the world, but it could not touch it. That cage has just been unlocked. Pillar 2. The Kinetic Ghost. The rise of embodied artificial intelligence. For decades, robotics was stuck. We could build machines to weld car chassis or flip pancakes, but they were rigid. They required thousands of lines of precise, unyielding code. If a part on the assembly line was rotated just 2 degrees out of place, the machine would break, blindly striking empty air. They had precision, but they lacked understanding. The breakthrough happened when we stopped trying to program robots and instead taught them how to learn. By marrying the massive world models of generative AI with advanced neural networks, we created the physical brain. These systems no longer view the world as a grid of coordinates, they view it the way you and I do. They look through optical sensors, perceive depth, calculate friction, and understand the intrinsic properties of matter. When a humanoid robot picks up an egg, it doesn't just execute a grip command. It recognizes the fragility of the shell. It feels the resistance in its synthetic tendons. It adapts in real time. Intelligence has escaped the screen. It has entered the physical grid. Look closely at the factories, the warehouses, and the research labs of 2026. You will see them. Humanoid forms moving with an eerie, calculated grace. Figure: Tesla's Optimus, Boston Dynamics Atlas. They are no longer clunky experiments. They are functional, autonomous labor. The secret to their rapid evolution is a concept known as end-to-end learning and massive-scale simulation. Before a robot ever takes a single physical step on a factory floor, it has already lived 10,000 lifetimes inside a virtual universe. In these hyper-realistic digital twin simulations, accelerated by massive computing grids, the AI brain practices. It walks over uneven terrain, drops objects, slips on ice, and recovers. It compresses decades of physical experience into a matter of hours. And then the magic happens. The hive mind synchronizes. When one humanoid robot in a facility learns a more efficient way to spot a defect or balance its weight while carrying a heavy payload, that data is instantly uploaded to the cloud. By tomorrow morning, every single machine in the fleet possesses that exact same muscle memory. Human beings take 20 years to raise and train a single worker. A robotic workforce evolves collectively, exponentially, every single second. But do not mistake this for a mere upgrade to manufacturing. This is the complete decoupling of labor from human biology. Throughout history, economic growth was always limited by the human population. There were only so many hands, so many hours in a day, so much physical strain a body could endure before breaking. Embodied AI demolishes that limit. Imagine a workforce that does not sleep, does not unionize, does not suffer from fatigue, and requires no salary. A workforce that can operate in the toxic air of a chemical spill, the vacuum of space, or the mundane, repetitive shifts of a midnight fulfillment center. This brings us to a profound, almost uncomfortable realization. As these machines mimic our movements, our walk, and our manual dexterity, they begin to blur the line between the mechanical and the organic. We are building a mirror image of ourselves, but without our fragility. The kinetic ghost is reshaping the surface of our planet. It will build our future cities, harvest our food, and perhaps, eventually, care for us in our old age. But as the physical world becomes populated by thinking machines, we must ask ourselves, when the labor of the world belongs entirely to the silicon, what is left for the flesh to do? While the cognitive sovereign conquers the digital realm and the kinetic ghost claims the physical world, the third titan operates in a space invisible to the naked eye, the microscopic wilderness, the matrix of life itself. Pillar 3. The Oracle Molecule. The digitization of biology and material science. For the entire history of human medicine, we have been playing a game of blind man's bluff. We discovered penicillin by accident. We treated diseases by flooding the human body with chemicals, hoping to hit the right target while praying we wouldn't destroy the rest of the patient. Biology was simply too complex. A single human cell contains millions of proteins, folded into intricate three-dimensional shapes that dictate whether we live, die, or age. To calculate how these proteins interact, using traditional supercomputers would take longer than the age of the universe. Then the Oracle awoke. Systems like AlphaFold 3 and the highly classified proprietary models that succeeded it changed the paradigm forever. They did not calculate, they predicted. They treated the amino acid sequences of biology exactly like words in a sentence, translating the raw text of DNA into flawless, three-dimensional physical structures. In a single afternoon, AI mapped the structure of nearly every known protein in existence, over 200 million of them, a task that would have taken human scientists hundreds of millions of years of painstaking lab work. We didn't just upgrade our tools, we handed the keys to the laboratory to an alien intelligence. The implications of this are staggering. We are moving away from treating sickness and entering the era of programming biology. Today, when a new pandemic or an aggressive cancer mutation appears, we no longer spend years in clinical trials trying to find a countermeasure. The Oracle molecule is loaded with a genetic sequence. Within minutes, it simulates billions of chemical combinations. It designs a custom, synthetic molecule engineered to lock onto the pathogen like a key into a vault door, neutralizing it before it can replicate. It is designing drugs that have never existed in nature. But the Oracle's sight extends far beyond medicine. It is rewriting the material fabric of our civilization. Our current world is built on dirty, finite chemistry. Plastic, concrete, rare earth metals pulled from toxic mines. The Oracle molecule is changing that. By understanding physics at the atomic level, it is dreaming up entirely new materials. Superconductors that operate at room temperature, unlocking near-infinite clean energy. Bioplastics that degrade into harmless water within hours of being discarded. Metamaterials so strong and light, they could make space elevators a structural reality. Humanity used to find new elements and materials by digging into the dirt. Now, we pull them out of the silicon. But there is a darker, more profound undercurrent to this power. Biology is the ultimate code. It is written in A, C, T, and G, rather than ones and zeros. And for the first time, we have an editor that understands the programming language of life perfectly. The Oracle is currently looking at the aging process itself, the cellular degradation we once thought was an inevitable law of nature. It views aging not as a fate, but as a software bug, a series of errors in gene expression that can be patched, reversed, and reprogrammed. We are standing on the precipice of radical life extension, where the human lifespan could be measured in centuries, not decades. Yet, as we stare into the depths of this laboratory, a chilling realization settles in. The same intelligence that can design the ultimate cure can also design the ultimate weapon. A pathogen engineered to target specific genetic traits, invisible and unstoppable. The oracle molecule holds the secrets to immortality and the blueprint for extinction. It is a mirror reflecting our highest aspirations and our deepest terrors, and it is waiting to see which one we choose. Three Titans, the cognitive sovereign, the mind that rewrites logic and decision-making. The kinetic ghost, the body that redefines labor and physical reality. The oracle molecule, the architect that programs the very code of life and matter. Separately, they are the greatest technological breakthroughs in human history. But they do not exist in isolation. They are converging. They are feeding into one another, creating an accelerating feedback loop. The reasoning engines design better chips and faster code. Those chips power the simulations that train the humanoids. The humanoids build the automated laboratories where the biological AI synthesizes new materials to create even faster quantum processors. This is the Nexus Point. We are no longer looking at individual innovations. We are witnessing the assembly of an overarching, planetary infrastructure of intelligence, an artificial biosphere. And as this new reality hardens around us, we must confront the final, most unsettling question of all. What happens to us? For thousands of years, humans occupied the apex of this planet because we were the ultimate thinkers, the ultimate builders, and the masters of our environment. We were the authors of the story. Now, the pen is being handed to someone else. We are entering a future where the most critical decisions of our civilization, from global economic shifts to the design of our medicine, will be made by minds we cannot fully comprehend. We will live in homes built by entities that do not sleep, guarded by machines that do not feel, cured by algorithms that see us as a collection of genetic code. This is not a story of machines replacing humans. It is a story of human evolution through technology. We will either merge with this intelligence, upgrading our own biology to keep pace with the gods we have created, or we will become a legacy species, a beautiful, fragile precursor, the scaffolding upon which a higher form of intelligence was built. The future is no longer a distant horizon. It is a room we have already walked into, and the door has just locked behind us. Thank you for watching Solo Nexus. If you want to navigate the coming shift, subscribe and stay close to the Matrix. Until next time, keep your eyes on the horizon.